So, guys, Brighton 3, Manchester United 1. This is your full-time reaction from Old Trafford on this Sunday afternoon on match day 22 of the 24-25 Premier League season, where history for Brighton has been made, history for the Premier League has been made, and history for Manchester United has been made today on this Sunday afternoon with your full-time with Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Brighton make it 3 wins in a row at Old Trafford in the last 3 seasons. Brighton have taken 6 points off Manchester United this season, and Brighton have completed the double over Manchester United in the Premier League as well this year in 2025. I mean, today was a massive, massive disappointment. It's massively frustrating, and it's very, very disappointing the way we performed today, especially after our last 3 games. I thought Manchester United would have turned a corner. I thought Manchester United would have taken their form from the last 3 results into the game today. And again, Brighton have played Manchester United off the park. I mean, you can't put it any shape or form like that. Brighton absolutely outplayed Manchester United. And I'm not surprised by it. I'm really, really not surprised by it. And I think it goes to show today that once again, those players cannot be trusted. Those players seriously today have found themselves being found out by the fans, by the supporters, and by Manchester United Football Club. And if Ineos and the Glazers are sat there right now, and you're considering not backing this manager, not making any signings before this January transfer window shuts, and you think that current Manchester United squad you think is good enough to go to the end of the season, you are massively, massively mistaken, because that today sums up how far and how badly Manchester United have fallen. The win against Southampton midweek, I honestly thought we would have turned a corner. I thought we would have taken that result, the positivity, the confidence, and the optimism that we got out of the Old Trafford crowd on Thursday night. I thought we would have went again today. I honestly thought we would have been up for this today. And for me, it felt like today those Manchester United players were already beaten. It felt like to me that those players felt like they already lost. And you could tell that by their body language. You could tell that by their facial expressions. And you could tell today that a lot of those players didn't seem up for it. And for me, from a Manchester United fan, that is simply nowhere near good enough to be a Manchester United player. And obviously, we celebrated the life of Denis Law today. And I think Denis Law would have sat there turning in his grave, because that today sums up how bad Manchester United are. And you will never see the likes of Sir Bobby Charlton, George Best and Denis Law ever again. You will never see anything like that in Manchester United's history ever. And it sums up how bad we actually are. And I think Denis Law, God bless his soul, would be turning in his grave right now after that performance, because that is not good enough. That was absolutely shambolic. That defensively, going forward to the midfield, to the goalkeeping, every section in that Manchester United team today created so many bloody problems. And we were meant to be getting fixed. Manchester United will never get fixed. Manchester United will always remain broken because of players that are simply not good enough to put on that shirt of this great historic football club, where since 2013 we have fallen off a cliff, and we're in 2025 now, 12 years down the road, and we have still not got any better. We have still not improved, and Manchester United continue to set a standard of players that basically don't give a shit. And the problem is today, I have to question Ruben Amorim's approach. I have to question his team selection, and I have to question the amount of changes that he thought was necessary for this game today. I'm really starting to question what is going on with the team, what is going on with these players, and once again, what is going on with these team selections. Like, I thought Manchester United were meant to have found their best starting 11 by now. I thought Manchester United were meant to have found their best team to go with. And clearly, we're tinkering and rotating more than ever before. And I don't get why the amount of changes that were made today from Thursday were made in the first place. Like, you've got to question certain players being in that team. You've got to question that lineup. You've really got to question, how on earth did Ruben Amorim think it's necessary to leave HOJLUND on the bench? Why did he think it was necessary to leave GARNACHO on the bench? Why did he think it was necessary to leave MARTINEZ on the bench? That is what I'm really, really struggling with today. That is what I'm really, really struggling to understand, that most of the better options were on Manchester United's bench. And again, a lot of those options probably, in my view, would have been a lot better for Manchester United today compared to that team that was in that starting lineup today. Ruben Amorim picks his team. Ruben Amorim picks these players. Ruben Amorim makes his team selection. And I think today, in my view, this is the first time since Ruben Amorim's been here that I don't understand what the manager's idea was today. I didn't understand the approach. I didn't understand the setup. And I don't understand the amount of changes he thought would benefit Manchester United going forward today. I've got to question that, because if you look at that starting 11 today, you've got Maguire back in at centre-back next to YORO and DALOT. Maguire has been handed a one-year contract extension because Manchester United do not want to lose Maguire for free. So they've chucked Maguire back in, which for me, if he was unfit to play against Southampton in midweek, what on earth are we doing chucking Maguire back in this team where, in my view, Maguire should be nowhere near it? Maguire shouldn't even be in this team. Maguire shouldn't even been given a contract extension because Manchester United do not want to lose him for free. If he wasn't fit Thursday, I think the idea of chucking him straight back in to that team today was massively, massively naive, because we are meant to be building a solid back three. And the problem with Ruben Amorim is he is tinkering and tactically changing so many players that are in and out of this team, where he wants to find his best 11. He wants to find his best team, but he keeps on making these substantial changes to this squad that he thinks is going to benefit Manchester United in the long term. I don't think Maguire starting today was a good idea, because if he wasn't fit to start Thursday, for me, I wouldn't have chucked him straight back in. And I think today was a massive, massive mistake, because we are meant to be building this back three of Martinez, DALOT and YORO. And Martinez is dropped from the starting 11. I don't understand why he's been benched. A centre-back that has been good since we signed him from Ajax has been dropped to the bench. And I don't understand how a player like Maguire, who's only got a one-year contract extension, has started ahead of Martinez. I'm sorry. That, for me, has to be on Amorim for picking Maguire in the first place. For me, it wasn't necessary. For me, it's massively naive from a manager who is meant to be building a younger team full of young, hungry players, is starting to believe in the old faces of this football club. For me, that's not the direction I thought we were meant to be going in. Maguire should not have started today. And I don't understand Martinez not starting at centre-back. I really, really am struggling to understand and justify not starting Martinez with DALOT and YORO. For me, there was a lack of experience, there was a lack of quality, and there was a lack of leadership in that back three, because YORO and DALOT, let's be honest here, they do not look comfortable when Maguire's in that back three. They look massively unstable. They can't do their job. And they realise, I think, to themselves that Maguire's quality with them is not there, because Maguire is in and out this team. And they probably realise that the better option has been put on that bench today, which I don't get. And don't give me, oh, Martinez has had to play the last 3 games in a row. Don't give me he's tired. Don't give me he's fatigued. Don't give me crap that's going to start making excuses for this football club. And hello in the live chat to all the people and all the community. Please do subscribe and hit that like button as well. Don't give me excuses that Manchester United think they can get themselves out of jail here. Martinez should have started ahead of Maguire. But because Maguire has been given that contract extension, all of a sudden it's a good idea to get him back in this team. Let's start Maguire. Let's go back to the old days of Lindelof and Maguire again. Let's go back to MAGUIRE. I'm sorry, the balance of that back three was unstable for the whole 98 minutes because Martinez is not in that back three. DALOT struggles and so does YORO. There's no excuses today for Martinez for not starting. I don't care if he's tired. I don't care if he's fatigued. If you're a Manchester United player, you should be putting in 110% of your effort, your commitment and your time to putting on a Manchester United shirt and starting that game. But whatever reason, I want clarification on why Martinez didn't start, because for me, that makes no sense. Just because we've given Maguire this contract, it doesn't mean Maguire should be given a free shot back into the team. I'm sorry. That, for me, logically, is not fucking good enough. For me, that's unacceptable. For me, that's no reason to start Maguire just because he's been handed this extension on his contract because Man United don't want to lose him for free. And it's not like he made that back three look any stable than what it was last week. Maguire in this team defensively makes Manchester United a lot worse. Problem number two, we've brought in £125 million worth of strikers in Rasmus HOJLUND and Joshua ZIRKZEE, with neither finding the back of the net in their last three games. Joshua ZIRKZEE apparently has deserved to start today. Joshua ZIRKZEE needed to be in the team. Joshua ZIRKZEE deserved to be playing in that starting lineup. Can someone come out and please tell me why Joshua ZIRKZEE should be in a Manchester United shirt? Can someone please tell me today why it felt Ruben Amorim should go with ZIRKZEE? Can someone, or a Man United fan or a supporter, come out and please give me some clarification and reasoning for Joshua ZIRKZEE starting up front today? Can someone please give me a reason? Because I don't get this. I know Rasmus HOJLUND and Joshua ZIRKZEE, neither of them are good enough going forward. Let's be honest, we have wasted £125 million on two strikers from Serie A who aren't good enough to cut it in the Premier League. Today was a huge opportunity to go at that Brighton team. There was a huge opportunity for Manchester United to attack. Brighton at times were there for the taking, with several chances Manchester United did have on the Brighton goal. The only thing Joshua ZIRKZEE did all game was going down from the challenge from that Brighton centre-back to win us a penalty. That is the only thing Joshua ZIRKZEE did all game, was to win us the penalty. Apart from that, what did Joshua ZIRKZEE bring to that team? What did Joshua ZIRKZEE bring in an attacking sense as a striker to put the ball in the net? Because that is now 4 games in a row that ZIRKZEE has now struggled to find the back of the net. For me, ZIRKZEE shouldn't be in this team. He should not be starting ahead of HOJLUND. But again, in my view, neither of them should be at Manchester United. Neither of them are good enough to lead that line. Neither of them can put the ball in the net. And I just don't understand today why we are using ZIRKZEE as a target man. Like, this goes back to the days of Liverpool when they had Ricky Lambert. We just pelt the ball forward and put the ball long for ZIRKZEE to be the man that holds the ball up. For me, that stinks of absolute pure desperation for Manchester United to play long ball FC and make ZIRKZEE the long-term target. It makes us look very, very weak. It makes us look very, very lethargic. And for me, it makes Manchester United look extremely, extremely desperate to try and prove a point that ZIRKZEE and HOJLUND both deserve a long-term future at this club. Neither striker should have been signed. It's been a massive mistake for Manchester United. And today, I don't think it benefited Amorim starting ZIRKZEE, because apart from the penalty that he won, fair play for him claiming it and for getting that penalty to get us on level terms. And obviously Bruno put the converting penalty away. But apart from that, for the rest of the game, ZIRKZEE contributed fuck all. He absolutely contributed nothing towards that result today. He absolutely did nothing to convince me that the minutes he's getting are deserved. For me, he's nothing more than a bench option. ZIRKZEE should not be starting games for Manchester United just because he can hold the ball up and hold the ball by his feet so he can play it straight back to his teammates. I'm sorry. If you're a striker, you're meant to be brought in to do a job. You're meant to be brought in to be a problem solver. ZIRKZEE cost Manchester United 35 fucking million. And today, it sums us up why we've got desperate, because Man United did not want to go and get their preferred target. They thought ZIRKZEE would be the better option on the long-term vision with a younger player with a younger age. I'm sorry today, that sums Manchester United up, because we've got two strikers that neither of them can put the ball in the net. We've gone 4 games in a row without neither of them scoring a goal. We've gone 4 games without either of them contributing towards a result. We've got 2 strikers that played in a Serie A in a slower league. And obviously, in a slower league, ZIRKZEE and HOJLUND would both convert goals. ZIRKZEE and HOJLUND would both be on the score sheet. And today, Manchester United, for me, got the selection wrong. ZIRKZEE should not have been starting that game. For me, it would have been better playing RASMUS from the start and seeing what he could do in the first 45 minutes. But again, we would have been in exactly the same problem again, because if RASMUS would have had a bad 45 minutes without a chance on goal or a good conversion rate, or he put the ball in the net, we would have had exactly the same problem in the second half. So neither problem could have been solved because neither of them can score a goal. We've got 2 strikers that can't score, who can't put the ball in the net. And we wonder why we're struggling to score. We wonder why we're struggling to put the ball in the net. We wonder why we are getting frustrated with ZIRKZEE. We can see why now we're getting frustrated with HOJLUND, because neither of them should have been brought to this football club. I'm really sorry. That isn't good enough. That really, really isn't fucking good enough. Long term, that needs to be fixed. You need to really, in my view, shift both of them, because they've been bad signings, bad mistakes, and they are massive errors that have fucked Manchester United over. But again, you've got to put the blame on Manchester United now, because they should have never signed him in the first place. That is Manchester United's problem. That is Manchester United's problem to solve. That is Manchester United's mistakes that they have got to learn by. And they're not learning. Manchester United are making the same mistakes. Man United are making the same errors, and it is costing them long-term vision. Those 2 players, I'm sorry today, neither of them did fuck all. Neither of them can score. Neither of them can put the ball in the net. And we wonder why Man United fans and supporters are complaining. But the problem is, Manchester United don't want to let them go. Manchester United don't want to sell them. Man United are committed toward the long-term visions and the sentimental, because they think ZIRKZEE and HOJLUND long-term will offer Manchester United better options for a goal scorer in the future. I'm sorry, there's no experience in that striking position. There's no leadership. There is no goal scorer in that team that Manchester United can rely on with ZIRKZEE and HOJLUND up front. Problem number 3. We have got an issue clearly with Garnacho. And Paul Tanner has said only best player we have is Ahmad. I'm sorry today, I completely disagree with the Ahmad thing. I completely disagree. I thought Ahmad was massively in and out that game today. Massively. I don't think Ahmad had a good game compared to what he had on Thursday. I thought Ahmad's levels absolutely dropped today. And that, again, is probably because the pressure is on his shoulders to keep delivering, especially what happened on Thursday with the hat-trick he scored at Old Trafford against Southampton. The pressure and the extent of that pressure is on his young shoulders, because he knows now there's going to be a target on his back. He knows the pressure on his shoulders is going to hit to an elite level. And this is the big, big problem. Without Ahmad, I get he is our best player at this current moment in time, but I don't think he contributed today. I don't think he really offered Manchester United threat in an attacking sense. I thought Ahmad was a lot lackadaisical than what he was on Thursday. I thought his performance levels really, really dropped today. And for me, that isn't good enough. If we've got players who can't perform at the long-term level, again, that's a big, big problem. I'm not putting the blame on Ahmad today. I just don't think he had a good game. So back to the problem number 3, which we need to solve. We've clearly got an issue with Garnacho. Garnacho, obviously, we know is of interest from Napoli. Napoli are desperately, desperately trying to get Garnacho out of Manchester United. And clearly, there's been a problem between manager and player for Garnacho not starting this game. And again, for me, I would have started Garnacho today. I thought in an attacking sense on Thursday, he was one of our best options inside that first half at Old Trafford against Southampton. Today, we don't have that. We don't have that in attacking sense. We don't have that left winger in our team when we've got Garnacho on the bench. For me, not starting Garnacho today really costs Manchester United going forward, because when you are playing a two-man midfield with two wing backs, and you've got Ahmad and HOJLUND, no, Ahmad and ZIRKZEE, sorry. You've then got Bruno supporting him inside the front three. But because Bruno is behind ZIRKZEE and Ahmad, he's still having to be inside that front three. And I don't think, for me, long-term that works. I don't think Bruno being inside that front three works. For me, Manchester United would have been better off putting Garnacho on that left wing. So we had two wingers and a striker, and we had three attacking players attacking that Brighton goal. Without Garnacho today, Manchester United did not create going forward. In an attacking sense, it was boring. It was very, very dull. We didn't have that threat that was creating Brighton's back four problems. We didn't have that problem getting inside Brighton's penalty area. It was non-existent from the whole game today. We didn't have that winger trying to create problems in the Brighton penalty area. I'm sorry. We needed an attacking winger on that pitch, and all we've got is Ahmad on the right, because you're putting Bruno inside the front three in neither of the left or the right wing positions, and you're playing him in the diamond front three with Ahmad and ZIRKZEE. And without a left winger, how are you meant to create from the left flank of the pitch? How are you meant to get the ball into the box? Because without any left winger, Manchester United don't fucking have one. We don't have a left winger. And if Manchester United are desperately trying to get rid of Garnacho, then you've got to get the 70 million you're asking for. But you can't come out and say that then we can't invest that back into the team. Because if Garnacho goes, we've then got no left winger, because Marcus Rashford isn't in the team and is clearly still of interest to AC Milan, Barcelona, and now Borussia Dortmund. Manchester United are trying to shift Rashford out. And if you shift Garnacho, again, I don't think that benefits Manchester United going forward. I think that made Manchester United in an attacking sense a lot worse, because we're meant to be building for the future, but you're taking that future away because you're coming up with this pathetic PSR excuse that we've got to sell young players so Manchester United avoid a PSR punishment. I'm sorry. All this stuff about PSR is the biggest load of bullshit I've heard in my life. Man United don't have a PSR issue. We're not in financial fair play problems. Man United don't need to sell to buy. Man United have money, but they're coming up with this excuse where Man United apparently now have to sell because we're hitting that red line limit because of how bad our debt is. At the end of the day, that is no excuse. We may have debt. Every club has debt. But at the end of the day, Man United are dwindling along with these excuses that we need to sell to buy. And you're trying to force Garnacho out of this football club when Garnacho's done fuck all wrong. And you're trying to get him out to benefit Manchester United long term. I don't think without Garnacho in this team, I don't think it benefits us. And if Manchester United let him go, for me, it makes us a lot worse. Because if Garnacho goes, then there's going to be a conversation where we might have to keep Rashford. I'm sorry. If Garnacho does want to go to Napoli, let him go, but get a decent price. Get the 70 million euros you want. But if you let Garnacho go and then you decide to keep Rashford, that's massively naive, because you want to get rid of Rashford as well. So if you get rid of those two and Antony as well, Antony looks like he's going to be on the move to Real Betis on a loan deal to the end of the season. And again, the problem with that is you are going to bring Antony back at the end of the season when you send him to Betis on loan, and you're going to bring him back, and then you're going to make him look like a brand new signing again. This is the big problem, because they're trying to do it with Rash as well. If they send both of them on loan, they're going to bring both of them back from their loan deal, and they're going to make them look like new signings for next season. So it's more likely Rashford and Antony are going to survive over Garnacho. And maybe there is a problem. Maybe there is a big issue between manager and player. Maybe Garnacho isn't happy with the way Amorim's system is set up. Maybe he's not happy the way Manchester United have massively have to change things under a new manager. Maybe Garnacho doesn't like that. Maybe Garnacho is not liking the new Manchester United and the way Man United is set up now under this manager. Maybe he was so comfortable under Ten Hag because he knew he was one of the first players on that team sheet. But now Man United are playing in a new system, a new setup and a new formation. Maybe there has been a bust-up between manager and player. But the problem is Man United are trying to force him out. Garnacho would have benefited Manchester United in so many of an attacking sense today. It would have created a lot more of an attacking opportunities and attacking chances for Man United to attack Brighton's back four and to attack their goalkeeper and maybe try and get us a few goals. The problem is when Garnacho's not on that team and he's on that bench, what are you meant to do? For me, again, that was on the manager for not picking Garnacho in the first place. Garnacho should have started. There is no excuses from Ruben Amorim. He's got nowhere to hide, really. But if there's an issue there between him and Garnacho, then that's got to be sorted out. And maybe Man United do have an issue there. Maybe Man United do want to get rid of Garnacho, but I don't think getting rid of Garnacho is going to benefit us. I think it's going to make us look a lot worse and a lot naive, because a lot of clubs are going to now look at us and they're going to start rubbing their hands together thinking, right, Manchester United are a selling club now. We can attack them. We can go and get their players very, very cheap because we know they're in a shit situation and they've now got apparently sell to buy again, which we all know is bullshit, don't we? Let's all be honest here. We know the excuses Man United come up with. We know the problems they create for themselves, and we know their violin they're trying to get out, and we know they're trying to brainwash this fan base. And the problem is certain fans, certain supporters, and certain sections of Manchester United are falling for it. They're getting their violins out and they're playing along to Ineos and the Glazers tune. If you want to get rid of Garnacho, be my guest. But where's the attacking approach going to come from for the rest of the season? Where's that attacking approach going to come from? Because if you do sell Garnacho, where's the left winger? And if you get rid of Rashford and Antony, you need a striker, a left winger and a right winger, because all we're going to be left with is ZIRKZEE, Ahmad and HOJLUND. That will be it. That will be it. And if Manchester United think that's going to benefit us, just having those three available, imagine if Rasmus does his hamstring. Imagine if Ahmad does his knee or his ankle. We're stuck with ZIRKZEE. We ain't got no one left. And then they'll end up having to go cry back to Rashford and Antony, please come back. We've got an injury crisis again because Ahmad and HOJLUND are both injured. What do you think, Ahmad? What do you think Rashford and Antony are going to say to the club? Up yours. Do one. We're not coming back from an loan deal. You're not recalling me. I ain't coming back. I'm staying here. You sort out your own problems. And I wouldn't blame them for that. I wouldn't blame Rashford and Antony for that. But today, that left-wing option got neglected by Ruben Amorim's team. It got neglected because of his team selection. If you would have had Garnacho on that left, Ahmad on the right, and ZIRKZEE, we would have attacked a lot more than what we did. But the problem is, when you don't have that option on the left, what do you do? What do you do? As a Manchester United fan, how do Man United attack without a left winger? How do we get in that Brighton penalty area? How do we attack their back four? Because there ain't no left winger on the pitches there. We're playing a diamond front three with Bruno in the supporting role for Ahmad and ZIRKZEE. I'm sorry today. I'm really sorry. That is a massive, massive reality check for me that this system might not work. Okay, this formation, this setup, I'm sorry, Manchester United fans. If you think this is going to work, you can carry on. But in my view, and in my opinion, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work because if you neglect the left wing and you neglect the midfield, because it looks like again today, with Bruno in more of the supporting role towards ZIRKZEE and Ahmad, he's having to play and support that front three a lot more than what he did, because the midfield then gets left behind because it looked like today that UGARTE and MAINOO couldn't cope. And that, again, is a big, big worry. I don't know what's happened to MAINOO. I don't know what's happened to UGARTE. But in the last two games, their confidence looks shot. I don't know what's happened to them. But they don't look like the players they were a few weeks ago. They look low on confidence. Their morale looks negative. Their body language looks very, very neglectful as well. It doesn't look like those players have got their heads in the game at the moment. And I don't know why. Maybe it's down to form. Maybe it's down to the amount of games they're having to play because they know they're two of the better options compared to Casemiro and Eriksen. Maybe they know that the midfield role they're trying to do, they can't keep doing for 95 minutes because with Bruno supporting that front two, how is MAINOO and UGARTE meant to do their jobs for the whole of the 95 minutes when they know it's just those two? Because when you've got those two, they're then having to support Garnacho on the left wing back, and then they're having to support Mazraoui at right wing back as well. And they don't really get those support from those two because the midfield job is their main job and their main issue to solve for the whole game. And the performance isn't there to do that certain level for the whole 90, 95 minutes, I'm afraid. We need that extra man back in that midfield three, in my view. I don't think playing Bruno alongside the front three is benefiting us. I think it makes Manchester United look a lot worse. So for me, I wouldn't consider doing this anymore. I would go back to a traditional 4-3-3. That is what I would want to do. That is what I really want to see. But because we're under a new manager, and I will stand by Amram, I will stand by his tactics and approach. But long-term vision, did that benefit us today? No, because we didn't create chances. We had no attacking options on that pitch from both wings, really, to give ZIRKZEE any service. And without that left winger, Ahmad's having to do most of the wing job on his own because he knows without Garnacho in that team, even without Rashford, even Antony to an extent, without an extra winger on that pitch, we know most of the right wing attacking sense will come through Ahmad because we can't play a ball to a left winger because we don't have one on the pitch. Because we're playing left wing backs, we're playing two midfield, we're playing left wing back, two midfielders, a right wing back, Ahmad, ZIRKZEE, and then Bruno is then inside the front three for ZIRKZEE to support Ahmad as well. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. That really, really doesn't work. And I think that didn't help today. If you look at the first Brighton goal, again, the defending for that is absolutely horrific. The defending from that, a five-a-side team could defend that first Brighton goal so much better. It is not difficult to defend. It is not difficult to do your defensive job. It is not difficult to keep the opposition out of a threat. The problem is today, we've had Mazraoui at right wing back for most of the season when it started with Ten Hag, now with Ruben Amorim. You've got to question Mazraoui for the first Brighton goal. A Brighton long ball gets played perfectly to Mitoma, and Mitoma is kept on side because of Mazraoui. Mazraoui doesn't sense that Mitoma is behind him. Mazraoui does not sense that Mitoma is about to attack that long ball, Brighton ball, from whoever played it to Mitoma. Mitoma is absolutely bolted past Mazraoui. Mazraoui does not sense that ball's going to go long because he doesn't realise there's a threat of Mitoma on that left flank of the pitch against him. And Mazraoui has left all that space. Mazraoui has been left non-existent because he's left that space, he's left that time, and that space, Mitoma has been allowed to attack it. And the defence there is fucking shit. Mazraoui should have sensed and realised, right, I've got Mitoma behind me. They're going to play this long ball here. If Matoma's behind me, I know Mitoma is going to bolt to that ball and attack that ball pretty quickly. And what does Mazraoui do? He lets that long ball get played to Mitoma, and Mitoma sits him on his ass. Mitoma sits him on his ass because Mazraoui doesn't know he's behind him. Mazraoui doesn't sense Matoma's there. Mazraoui doesn't feel like there's a threat from Brighton on that left flank of that pitch. And Mitoma gets left all that space. The ball gets played perfectly from the Brighton player to Mitoma. Mitoma attacks that ball straight away. He bolts with the ball. But what annoys me then, there's no reaction from Mazraoui. There's no sense to chase down the ball. There's no sense to put a tackle in. There's no sense to put your body on the line. There's no sense to try and force Mitoma out of the United penalty area. He just lets him run and run and run and run. I can't believe how lazy Mazraoui has been at that moment to let Mitoma attack that ball and keep going and going and going and going. That for me is lazy fucking defending for Mazraoui. To allow Mitoma to get inside your penalty area and not trying to force him out of it, or at least put your body on a line, or put a block in, or put in a tackle, or at least put this out for a corner for a throw-in. That is what Mazraoui should have done in that moment of time to prevent Mitoma from attacking that United penalty area. And what makes it worse, it's not just down to Mazraoui. It's not just down to Mazraoui alone. The defence then absolutely crumbles because what annoys me, we've got Mazraoui, Maguire and YORO in that back three who decide to become a back three. all of a sudden. DALOT's non-existent. Don't know where DALOT disappeared to, unless Sooty waved his magic wand and went, "Izzy Wizzy, let's get fucking busy." I don't know where DALOT went. But what happened from that Mazraoui mistake? You've got Maguire and Yoro sensing and trying to somehow close that ball down. They know Mitoma's got in the penalty area. They know Mitoma's absolutely skinned Mazraoui because he's been sat on his bum. They know Mitoma's got in their box. They know Mitoma is inside their penalty area. Why have Maguire and Yoro allowed Mitoma to play a low cross inside the penalty area? Maguire gets nowhere near it. Yoro gets nowhere near it. I can't believe one simple low cross has outdone Maguire and it's outdone Yoro. They should have sensed Mitoma was going to put a low cross in. They should have sensed if Mitoma's in our penalty area, we don't know if there's going to be an attacking Brighton player running by the side of us because we're so focused on that ball and we're so focused on Mitoma, the focus gets taken away. And surprise, surprise, who comes back to put Brighton in the lead? An ex-Man United player in Danny Welbeck. Because Maguire and Yoro, as well as Mazraoui, are focused on Mitoma and focused on that ball, they don't realise Danny Welbeck has gone. You've got Maguire here, Yoro here, and you've then got Welbeck here. Welbeck runs past round Yoro, round Maguire, round the side of both of them. He's allowed a free run inside our penalty area. He's allowed a free chance on goal. He anticipates the low cross from Mitoma. And because Maguire and Yoro's concentration is focused on Mazraoui and Mitoma and the ball, Maguire and Yoro don't see Danny Welbeck running around the outside of them. And Danny Welbeck, free chance on goal, free shot on goal. Maguire and Yoro get outplayed by one simple low cross, which a 5-year-old could defend. It's not difficult. Danny Welbeck taps into an open net. Again, that is really, really shit defending. You can't forgive that. And what annoys me, Mazraoui doesn't try and put the block on the Mitoma cross. Yoro and Maguire don't sense he's going to put this low cross in, even though it was quite obvious to the naked eye what Mitoma was going to do. So Maguire and Yoro, in some aspects, should have realised he was going to put that low cross in. And Maguire and Yoro, one of those two, should have realised, right, Danny Welbeck's on the outside of us. One of us two has to block or stop this Danny Welbeck run, and we need to stop this cross. But none of those three decide to block the cross, and neither of those three realise Danny Welbeck's there in open space. Look at the time, look at the space he's got to put a tapping in, and he puts Brighton 1-0 up. And then again, for the second goal, again, the defence is shocking because you've got that young attacking Brighton winger in, is it Belieber? What a player he is. What a talent he is. How young and experienced he looks already at Premier League level. It doesn't surprise me because that, again, is down to Brighton's recruitment. But what annoys me, he puts in a simple cross into that United penalty area. You've got Bruno there, DALOT there, Maguire there, Yoro there, UGARTE there, MAINOO there. You've got at least 6 to 7 Manchester United players surrounding inside that United penalty area. And not one of them decides to close down the Belieber cross. No one puts the tackle in. No one puts a block in. No one tries to at least try and win the ball back off Belieber. No one tries to close down the cross. Belieber is allowed all the time and space in the world to put a free cross into our penalty area. And what happens at the back post from that cross? It's a great ball in. It's a great ball into our penalty area, and it is a great cross. The talent and the skill Belieber has got in that Brighton team, it really, really doesn't fucking surprise me. It really, really doesn't, because we've been too lazy and too amateurish to close down the cross, to close down a player, because we've got 7 United players who can't be asked to do their fucking job, and you're allowed in that cross into your penalty area. But what happens at the back post? Mazraoui at fault again for the second goal. And who attacks it? What problem did he have for the first goal? What player gave him the shits in the first half? What player absolutely sat Mazraoui down on his ass? Mitoma. Mazraoui, again, his sense, his understanding, and his defending there is absolutely amateurish. It really, really is amateurish, because Mitoma has run round the outside of Mazraoui. Mazraoui doesn't see Mitoma coming again and allows him to attack the back post and allows him to get an acute ball into the back of Onana's net. And Mazraoui ends up colliding with the back post because he didn't anticipate that Mitoma was going to be there. He didn't anticipate that cross was going to go in. He probably thought in Mazraoui's mind that ball was going to go out for a goal kick. That ball was going to go out for an Onana chance to just clear the ball from deck. And he probably didn't anticipate Mitoma was behind him in free space. Mitoma sensed the cross from Belieber and was bolted it like Bolt the dog from the Disney Pixar film again. He absolutely bolts and anticipates the cross. And you've got to give it to Mitoma for attacking the space. You've got to give it to Mitoma for attacking the goal. Because Mazraoui, again, has foolishly realised, oh shit, Mitoma's behind me until it's too late. And I've ended up colliding with the post to add insult to injury. Again, Mazraoui's at fault for the second goal because his defending there, he's basically allowed Mitoma to play him off the ball. He's allowed Mitoma that space to attack Onana's net. He's allowed Mitoma to run onto that space from the cross. He's allowed Mitoma just to go. He's allowed Mitoma just to go and do his job to attack the goal. And Mazraoui there is lazy. I'm sorry, that's fucking lazy defending. You can't just sit there and let an opposition player attack your goal and not do your job. I'm sorry, that's fucking lazy. You lazy prick. You can't just stand there and let Mitoma attack. You should have realised that threat was there. Mazraoui in that moment should have realised Mitoma's by me again. I can't repeat the mistake of the first half again in the second. And he does it. He repeats history. He makes himself look like a right mess again because he doesn't do his defensive job. He doesn't anticipate Mitoma's there in that penalty area until it's too late. And look at the pace and look at the speed and look at the sprint that Mitoma anticipates from the cross. He sees the cross, he sees where's Mazraoui, and he bolts to the back post to get an acute finish to put it into the back of Onana's net. Makes it 2-1. Brighton are on the verge of again creating that history of getting 3 Old Trafford wins in a row in their club's history and in Premier League history, as well as Manchester United for letting it fucking happen in the first place. But when you think it couldn't get any worse, Brighton seal the 3 points from which should have been quite a comfortable collect of the ball from Onana. You've got Solly March on the right flank of Manchester United's penalty area. He plays a low, soft cross into Man United's penalty area, into the box. You've got DALOT there and you've got Onana there. And you think to yourself, Onana has come quite quickly out of goal to anticipate the low, soft cross from Solly March. He's anticipated that it's not really going to create any more threat on Manchester United's goal. And you think to yourself, this is going to be an easy collect for Onana. He's going to collect the ball, pick up, and then release it for a goal kick and get Man United straight back onto the attack in front. It's such a soft cross from Solly March. It's such a low cross. And you would think we'd have the confidence for Onana to pick the ball up and collect the cross. And what does Onana do? He comes to the ball. He thinks he's collected it with both of his arms, but the ball has gone underneath both arms. And DALOT's there, but because there wasn't realistically any chance of a Brighton attack from happening, because you would have thought Onana would have collected that low soft cross from Solly March, and you would have thought it would have been safety into the goalkeeper's arms. Onana has allowed the ball to go underneath both arms. The ball has slipped underneath both arms. And you would have thought Onana would have hurried and anticipate the ball has left his arms underneath him quite quickly and tried to regain the confidence and get that ball picked up quite quickly. What we don't realise, who comes running around the back of DALOT in front of Onana? Who comes running around the back of DALOT inside that United penalty area from that Solly March cross? Who's anticipated that Onana's made a goalkeeping howler? Who's anticipated that Onana's made a massive goalkeeping mistake? Here comes João Pedro. Anticipates Onana's lost the ball because it's gone underneath Onana's arms. Has anticipated the ball, has gone round Onana, around DALOT, and he's allowed to put the ball into the back of the Manchester United net at absolute ease. And that was the final nail in Manchester United's coffin today. That was the Brighton 3 points. That was the Brighton win. The final mistake, again from Onana. Poor goalkeeping, poor approach, poor defending. But you would have thought DALOT also has to be at response here, because he should have realised, oh shit, my goalkeeper's lost the ball. The goalkeeper has made a mistake. I need to hurry and get this ball out of our penalty area before any Brighton player attacks it. And you've got DALOT, who is too lazy to do his job, to clear that ball out of our penalty area, and too lazy, really, to anticipate, oh shit, João Pedro's in our penalty area. Our net's open. Onana's made a goalkeeping howler. I've got to stop this before it gets worse, because there's an open net for João Pedro to aim at. There's no one in goal. And DALOT should have realised he should have helped his goalkeeper there in that situation. Onana is at fault for the third goal. Don't get me wrong. He's massively at fault for letting that happen. But also, DALOT should have helped him in that situation by getting that ball out quicker. And he doesn't anticipate it. DALOT doesn't realise João Pedro has seen the Onana mistake. João Pedro has realised Onana's made an absolute howler out of that low cross from Solly March. DALOT should have realised and helped there. And what DALOT idiotically decides to do, he knows João Pedro's picked up the ball and he tries to defend it. And DALOT gets nowhere near the ball, nowhere near a block, nowhere near a tackle. João Pedro rolls it into an open Manchester United net to seal the win, to seal the points. Brighton go 3-1 up. The game is gone. It doesn't surprise me. It really, it wasn't João Pedro, was it? Was it Jorginho? It was Jorginho, the player this time from Leeds, wasn't it? It wasn't João Pedro. Yeah. Jorginho rolls it into an open Manchester United net. It wasn't João Pedro. I apologise there for mistaken identity. Yeah. Jorginho anticipates an open net, rolls it in, 3-1 to Brighton. It would have been great to have had back-to-back Premier League wins today for Manchester United, but the mistakes really, really cost us. But I didn't feel confident with that team selection. I didn't feel comfortable with Manchester United today. I think the selection cost us. I think Ruben Amorim's approach cost us today as well. I think the options off the bench probably would have been better to benefit Man United today in an attacking sense. The midfield job, like I said earlier, MAINOO in the guard, I did not look comfortable. Bruno inside the front three diamond attack with Ahmad and ZIRKZEE doesn't work. We've got a goalkeeper who keeps on making the same mistakes. And we've got no attack. So it didn't surprise that we've lost today, but it's the same old errors. It's the same old mistakes. It's the same old Manchester United, same old fucking story. I told you can't trust these players because they've really, really messed up today. They have absolutely made us look like twats. And do you know what? I ain't giving any player a player of the match. I think player of the match today has to go to the fans and supporters for watching that 98 minutes of crap once again from Manchester United and its bang average waste of time players. We need a rebuild, and Ineos and the Glazers better back Amorim or there's going to be trouble. So I hope you enjoy this full-time reaction. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel, which is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. And remember, always put the notification bell on all times to receive dedicated and upcoming content right throughout the rest in 2025 this year. We've got brand new videos, brand new shorts, brand new live streams, and plenty of brand new stuff. I want to get all of you amazing people on this channel, on this community involved in the future this year in 2025. And then tomorrow evening, we will do the look ahead for the UEFA Europa League home game against Rangers at Old Trafford on Thursday night on the penultimate round of fixtures before the Europa League finishes a week later. So please join me for that look ahead tomorrow night for Manchester United versus Rangers for the Europa League on Thursday evening. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. And I'll see all of you guys on the next one.